Black Caviar, a billion-dollar conspiracy. Chapter 1, Black Gold of the Caspian. Hey friends, buckle up for a story that'll blow your mind and chill your blood. I'm diving into the dark, twisted world of black caviar, a delicacy that's not just food, but a symbol of obscene wealth, raw power, and a criminal underworld that's bleeding an ancient species dry. This isn't just about caviar. It's about greed so ruthless, it's destroying nature itself. Want to know the dirty secret behind those shiny jars on billionaire tables? Stick with me, because this tale of black gold will leave you speechless. Once, black caviar was supposedly for everyone, or so Stalin's propaganda machine once swore. In the Soviet Union, the sturgeon trade was a state-controlled cash cow, funneling millions into the treasury. Caviar dazzled the elite, shipped to Paris, London, New York, served on silver platters with Russian furs and champagne. It was the empire's badge of dominance. But when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, that monopoly shattered like glass. The Mafia, poachers, and corrupt officials pounced, turning the Caspian Sea into a war zone for billions. This isn't business, it's a bloody war. And the stakes? Not just money, but the very survival of a species older than dinosaurs. Can you guess who's winning? The Caspian is the last stronghold for sturgeons, ancient giants that swam with T-Rexes. These living fossils are now teetering on extinction. Why? Because their caviar is the underworld's gold, with a single kilo fetching tens of thousands of dollars. And for that kind of cash, sturgeons are being slaughtered without mercy. Ready to see how deep this rabbit hole goes? Chapter 2, The Deadly Journey of the Sturgeon. Imagine thousands of sturgeons surging up the Volga every May. Driven by an instinct older than humanity itself. It takes 15 grueling years for a tiny fry to become a mighty fish ready to spawn. But their sacred journey, it's now a death trap. Poachers litter the Volga's delta with thousands of razor-sharp hooks, pure instruments of torture. These hooks rip into sturgeons, leaving them to bleed out in agony. The caviar snatched, and the carcass tossed into the river to rot under a blazing sun. Out of 250,000 eggs a female lays, only 2 survive. 2. Can you wrap your head around that? 250,000 chances at life, and only 2 make it. And every year, those odds get worse. Sturgeons are vanishing. Will they be gone in 10 years, Joe, or by next week? I couldn't stop asking myself, how did we let this happen? How could humanity sacrifice an entire species for a luxury snack? The answer hits hard: greed. Caviar isn't just food, it's a status symbol, glittering on the tables of oligarchs, diplomats, and VIPs in Dubai and Monaco. But every spoonful hides a gruesome truth: the blood of sturgeons in a dying Caspian ecosystem. While we drool over decadence, the Volga's becoming a graveyard. Want to know who's pulling the strings? Chapter 3, The Mafia on the River. Who's behind this carnage? I dug deep and tracked down an insider, a former Astrakhan police officer turned entrepreneur who spilled the beans. His words hit me like a freight train. The Volga's carved up like a Thanksgiving turkey, he whispered. The Mafia sliced it into chunks, each controlled by a crooked inspector. Want to set your hooks? Pay up, catch fish or not, doesn't matter. Fork over the man, and your gear's safe. When Moscow's big shots come sniffing, inspectors tip off the poachers. Hooks vanish, boats disappear, and it's cleaner than a priest's conscience. This system's tighter than a Swiss vault. Inspectors rake in tens of thousands of dollars monthly. Poachers pay tribute to keep the heat off. And the Mafia? They're the puppet masters, cashing in by selling caviar to the West for cold, hard cash. Russia's treasury bleeds $500 million a year, billions of rubles that could build schools, hospitals, roads. Instead, they fatten criminal wallets. But the real victim? Nature. Sturgeons can't breed fast enough. Their numbers are plummeting. If this keeps up, our kids will only see sturgeons in dusty museum displays. Think that's bad? It gets worse. Chapter 50, Operation Putina. The Kremlin wasn't about to let this slide. In a spring blitz, Astrakhan, Dagestan, and Kalmykia unleashed Operation Putina, a full-on assault on the Caviar Mafia. 1,500 fighters, Omon, South Sober, internal troops, stormed in to smash the supply chains, nab poachers, couriers, and middlemen, and choke off the pipeline to the west. Helicopters buzzed the delta, boats scoured the channels, and special forces laid traps in the reeds. It was a war straight out of an action flick. But the Mafia? They're not your average crooks. They're cunning as foxes. The big break came at Astrakhan's train station, where they nabbed a courier. This wasn't some lowlife. He was a former Moscow State University student, cool as ice. He confessed to making 60 trips a year, hauling 3 tons of caviar to Moscow. That's a fortune in his pocket. Then they raided a house in Astrakhan and found 250 kilos of caviar, a jackpot worth millions in the West. The guy running the show, a middleman buying from poachers, slipped away, but not for long. They nabbed him days later. He and his wife are staring down serious prison time. But here's the kicker. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Want to know how they pull it off? Chapter 5. How Caviar Becomes Legal. Hold on to your seats, because this is where it gets wild. The Mafia's trick to turn bloody caviar legal is disgustingly simple. In Astrakhan, factories churn out sheet metal for cans. For pocket change, their bosses sell pre-stamped lids to poachers. In grimy garages and dank basements, they seal the caviar into cans that look straight from the factory. Then, for a measly $5,000, corrupt officials hand out fake quality certificates and export licenses. Boom! The caviar born in slaughter is now a legit delicacy for Paris, London, and New York. The Mafia sells to Western companies who either don't know or don't care that they're buying dirty goods. Can you believe the audacity? This web of deceit strangles the entire Volga Delta. While the Mafia cashes in, nature's the one paying the price. Sturgeons are dying, the river's choking on filth, and locals, once honest fishermen, are now cogs in this criminal machine. I get it. When poverty's knocking and caviar's worth millions, who can resist? But at what cost? The answer will shock you. Chapter 6. The Final Blow. The climax of Operation Putina was a heart-pounding showdown. Intel dropped a bombshell. The Mafia was planning a massive caviar smuggling run, disguised as legal stock, headed for Moscow. Every road out of Astrakhan was locked down. Special forces geared up for a high-stakes mission in Kalmykia's scorching steppes, where the deal was set to go down. They swooped in and seized a van stuffed with caviar cans. A huge win. But was it enough to end the war? Not even close. The operation hit the Mafia hard. 1,150 arrests, 248 of them wanted fugitives. They confiscated over 5 tons of caviar and 113 tons of sturgeon. Mind-blowing numbers. Plus 1,894 poaching tools, enough to net all of Astrakhan. They even busted 5 secret workshops packing caviar into fake cans. It was a gut punch to the Mafia, but they're not down for the count. A week later, another train rolled into Moscow, loaded with fresh caviar. The empire's still standing, ready to fight another day. Think they'll ever stop? Chapter 2. What's next? So where do we go from here? Can we save the sturgeons, or is black caviar doomed to become a fairy tale for our kids? I'm not sure, but one thing's clear. As long as people crave caviar, the Mafia will deliver. And as long as they rule the Volga, sturgeons will fade away. This isn't just about fish or cash. It's about how greed is gutting our world. If we don't act, we'll lose more than sturgeons. We'll lose a piece of our history, our planet, our future. Can we stop this madness, or are we too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Can the caviar mafia be crushed? Or is this machine how unstoppable? Subscribe, smash that like button, and don't miss my next investigation. It's gonna be even crazier. I'll catch you later. Until the next dark secret. Don't scroll past. Hit like and subscribe if you're ready for the next twisted story.